You are saving people like you see them really as your brother, sister, mother, cousin. If you really feel that symbiotic brotherhood and sisterhood, then your efforts would be different if it was just some intellectual process. If you see that brother on the corner, see them people in the community and feel the sense of real love there, you can't mix capitalism with that love. That's like a family member that you want to help. Say, well, I can't help you. This is your actual brother, your actual cousin, your actual uncle, your actual father. Well, I can't help you, Mom, unless you got some money. See the point I'm making? I can't help you unless you can pay me. The average person is not going to say that to their parent. And if they would, I don't really know how society has really digressed. But the love that they actually have would allow them not to become capitalistic, because they're out of their concern for that person, out of their true concern. They don't want money. They want to see the transformation of another human life towards positive progression. That's really what they really want to see. They don't want to see a few more dollars. They want to see an individual who is really elevated now, who has went from this level of consciousness to another level of consciousness. So when we say that we're against capitalism, it's not because this is some great socialist communistic theory or some socialistic or communistic or Marxist ideology. It's because when you really have a love, when you see those people as your brother and sister, helping them has nothing to do with economic profit. That's the last thing that you come to your mind when you help somebody that you're concerned about. Now, if we need true concern and care and love for our people, if that's what we really need, then how are we going to achieve true concern and love for need trying to profit in our interactions with them? There's no way we can achieve that. Because our concern is profit. It's not true love and compassion. But watch that. But the solution to the problem is us actually having love and compassion for one another. What is the exemplification of that love and compassion? It is giving out of true concern. So, if the problem is we lack love and compassion, this is why we shoot and kill each other. This is why we have drive-bys and relationship disputes and arguments and fights and domestics. This is why we have these problems, because we lack love. So when you have a humanitarian, service-orientated black revolutionary nationalist that gives, the forces that hate are neutralized by the very act and the very exemplification of true compassion. So it's not just that we're going to give millions of DVDs out and wake up the people and everybody's somehow going to watch a DVD. But it's the synergy of compassion that we build that is genuine. It's very contagious. It's very contagious. Because you can walk down the street and nobody's giving nothing because they don't care about anybody else. So anybody that is about giving and love and compassion sincerely begins to stand out in a world where only people care completely and wholeheartedly about themselves. So that very exemplification, that very determined act is easily seen by everybody. It stands out. It is a contrast for it. So it is that act of giving that is reteaching them how to be. Not just massive distribution, reaching thousands of millions of people, but the cultural transition that is exemplified in one man and brother giving to another. Ain't that deep? This is embodied within our DVD ministry. It's not just purely about the DVD, but the fact that we have a concern, a true compassionate concern and interest in the mental development of our people is seen in the distribution of our information. somebody is concerned to that level about the mental development of their people, that they would set up something, where they would give something to see that consciousness happen. You know, the European is very concerned about the mental development of our people, because that's how we become his slaves in his society. We're trained to get a job and work for him under his corporate fictions. So he's very concerned about our mental development, which is why school is free. It's compulsory education. That's how concerned he is, that he wants to open up the public school systems so everybody can send their children for free. Because he understands the development of those minds in the relationship to his imperialistic practices. So as black nationalists, we see the same thing. That we must develop the minds of our people and move them towards nationalistic interests, nationalistic concerns, nationalistic focus. So how important is that? It's so important that we would go burn thousands of DVDs up and just give it to them. It's that important. And that is compassion, which is the solution. The solution is not a strategical distribution line. The solution is not massive distribution. The solution is not propagandizing. The solution is the individual who has achieved the level of compassion, who can exemplify the true state of the new revolutionary being. That is the solution, because compassion can give you thousands of solutions. You can come up with thousands of ideas. But where does the patience to the development of ideas come from? What does the patience to the development of the mind come from? It comes from the compassion. It comes from the heart. That's where your patience comes from. Give you an example. I'm definitely now, even 3 years from now, much further than I was from just the information that I've consumed over the last 3 years. I have developed even further. In 10 to 15 years, I will have even developed even further. So we all have room for development, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So it is not a contest of mental development. Follow me with this. It is a manifestation of human compassion. The human development is unavoidable. Whether you develop in white supremacy, you develop in black nationalism. It doesn't matter. You're going to develop as a human being in this world. So it's not a contest of human development. Who has the most knowledge? Who has the most information? But who has the most compassion? You follow what I'm making? To use this information. And who has the patience to develop in the process of receiving this information. I figured that Imhotep was a lot further along than I am at 30 years old, right now at the time of this DVD being brought out. I take it Akhenaten and the pharaohs were further in their time, based upon how many years that they were building, than I am now. They're a lot further. That's why they built pyramids. You see the point I'm making? Because their development was further. But development is not the reality of the process. Compassion is. When a child is born out of the womb, in order for that child to rule and get into a position of leadership, the child must have compassion. You see the point I'm making? What is the king looking for when he passes on his legacy? He's looking for a child who embodies the love, the attributes, and the characteristics of love to rule the nation for the people. He would develop anyway with the generals around and with all this knowledge and information and the council of the royal family, right? He's going to develop anyway. There's no question about development. And he should not be a pharaoh at 5 years old. He's going to get to that. But he has to have the compassion and stand out uniquely in his concern for the people to be chosen. You follow what I'm making? To receive certain knowledge to ensure his development, because as a matter of fact, if the knowledge gets into the wrong person's hand, then the people will perish. because they will do evil with the same knowledge, with the same development.